All right, Christmas is over. Back to work. The Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590, The Fan in Toronto, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you can't catch us live, give us a download on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, in for the Sammy McKee, Christian Chanidi.
Nice. I think you nailed it. Nailed the
did.
pronunciation.
Because we are very needy on Christian Chanidi.
We're relying on him a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
Nice lineup, I can tell you that.
In
Kip.
for Sammy McKee, who, now is this a mandatory leave of absence? Or are we sending him away because we're almost at the halfway mark?
Yeah.
And we need him to regroup. It's been a rough first half of the season almost.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
We need the best version of him, and it's almost like when a guy's it's not a healthy scratch. He just needs a break.
He just needs a rest.
Get the best out of him when he's back.
So we're happy to have Christian aboard, and we'll get him involved in the show later on in the week. In the meantime, I'm looking at this lineup, and the color,
Poor Sam.
just the color. And correct me if I'm wrong, but does the paper feel like better quality?
It's a thicker stock.
It's a thicker stock.
I think so.
It's actually it's got a gloss to it. I don't know. Like Sammy doesn't give us good paper. The paper's not even good.
I just don't get why. Like why is color not possible?
I don't know. I don't know. Does Sammy know that those machines have a color option?
Poor Sammy.
Hey?
I don't know, but like
and the paper just feels better in my hands.
It's a beautiful line.
If Sammy had a bakery, we'd be eating day-old bagels. That's how I feel.
These are fresh cupcakes here.
Fresh, very fresh.
So, how was your Christmas?
You think Sammy's listening right now? I'm really hoping he was listening to the opening.
I hope he's not.
No?
No. He's in Owen Sound doing other things.
Ice fishing.
Day beers.
Good for him.
Yeah.
We're hope you're enjoying the family, Sammy.
And your Christmas, Kyper?
It was good.
Yeah.
We ended up going away. We went up into the Halliburton area.
Nice.
Sir Sam's Ski Resort.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
Ask for the athletic director, Mike. Huge fans of the Real Kyper and Bourne Show.
Funny you say that. I actually will be doing that because I've never taken my kids skiing.
I know.
They're all over me, and I need to do it.
I told him that. He's expecting your call.
All right.
I'm not sure if I can get you the Real Kyper discount, but I told him, bring him a hot chocolate at the very least. If JB comes up there, which I'm sending him up there, a hot chocolate would be sufficient, but it's fun. Great energy up there. Awesome. We had amazing weather on Saturday.
You ski or snowboard? You ski.
But I just go down the hill, and I hope not to break another rib.
Okay.
That's my
Fair
function.
enough, yeah.
Yes. But our thanks to the great people up there. For sure. And a shout out to Walt McKechnie up there too, as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A Leaf alumnus.
Oh, very cool.
So I'm sending you up there.
All right.
In the meantime, how was everything in Long Island?
Everything was good. We went to Islanders, Devils. We got the Devils tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. So I did a little recon, got a little sense of what the Leafs are going to be in for. Saw the Matthew Schaefer show. Isles win 2-1. Late goal by Adam Pelech. It was pretty awesome. UBS Arena is pretty sweet. So it was a good time. Thanks to them there.
In our Samuelus show today, Sheldon Keefe will join us as they get ready to face the Toronto Maple Leafs. In about 30 minutes, we'll welcome in head coach of the New Jersey Devils. Top of the hour, Rob Brown will talk a little Edmonton Oilers. Always a great catch up with him as well. And Jason Bukala out of Minnesota will give us a little bit of an update on the World Juniors.
We need it.
We need it bad. In the meantime, in our Leaf Hour edition of our program, the Leafs, 3 of 4 in points on the weekend, which is okay.
Yeah.
75%. Okay.
Sounds like my grades.
Yeah. But your early thoughts of the weekend in general, you want to focus on the Ottawa Senators Saturday night. We did the game last night. We're also scheduled to do the New Jersey Devil game on Tuesday, so we'll be busy this week.
And Tuesday.
Yes.
A lot of Leaf games for the kids coming up.
So where do you want to start on what you saw out of the weekend?
Yeah. I'll do a bit of an overview vibe. I wasn't there for the game on the 23rd that you did with Frege after the Marc Savard change for Steve Sullivan. I'll just say this. The last few games, the Maple Leafs looked like they looked last year. Now, that's not to say they looked awesome, because last year they weren't a dominant team, but they had good results. And I would say the last 4 games, I know their expected goals are up around 53%. They have as much ozone time, as many high danger chances as the other teams. They're getting good goaltending. Their defense is getting a little bit healthier. Matthews has been a bit better, and it looks more like what we thought this year would look like.
A lot of talk about the power play. It cost Marc Savard his job.
Yeah.
And lo and behold.
Do you remember that ever happening? An assistant coach getting fired mid-year, not for conduct?
Okay, well, first of all, there are firings like that,
We just don't
but
hear about them.
none as high profile as a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Like that has to have been the most publicized, high profile associate firing in NHL history.
Totally. Like it was talked about and covered like it was a head coach. Like if Columbus were to fire a guy off the bench, you'd be like, okay,
And
make your change.
we don't hear, like, we're talking about a coach that never has spoken to the media, right?
Totally.
It's really strange.
But it's funny how often your name can be in the news here in Toronto, where it's like they had the Savard, was the Saviometer or whatever in playoffs last year.
That was, I think, an Elliott production.
And they had
and Brian Spear, the producer of Hockey Night in Canada.
listen,
Because
it was
every time I
entertaining.
say Elliott, your savvy meter buried Marc Savard. He's like, no, that was Brian Spear's idea.
Oh, God. Get the beep backup sounds going. Either way, it was entertaining. Then they had all this talent on the power play. It wasn't working, so his name came up. He was just talked about a lot for a guy who we never heard from. We don't even know what his views were on anything.
Yeah.
So, they bring in Sullivan, and I don't know. Do you believe that Sullivan coming in has anything to do with their change in fortunes?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do, yes. I do.
That quickly?
No, well, listen, it may not even be X's and O's, and I think Matthew Nye said we had a couple of different looks, a couple of different options to think about. It's just, at the end of the day, I've been involved with firings like that. There's just a different energy.
Yeah.
There's just a twist and a feel. And sometimes it could simply come down to players witnessing that your behavior cost a man his job, his livelihood.
Right.
You ruined his Christmas.
And he's
2
a guy
days
who
before
clearly
Christmas.
cares. He cares. You can't say he doesn't care.
Right?
Yeah.
And there has to be a sense of guilt to that. Mm-hmm. And the one thing about firings, and I don't care if it's professional sports, even here, right, in our environment or anyone's environment, whatever happens to them at work, you take notice and your behavior kind of changes. So whether it's a firing, whether it's guys getting traded, guys getting sent down, layoffs, and we've experienced them over our business of the ever-changing broadcasting world. Right. You're more attentive.
Yeah.
You're on your best behavior.
Sir, yes, sir.
You're like, oh, I don't want that to be me. You better look yourself in the mirror and pick a few things up.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to the power play.
Simple as more attentiveness. Like
they're going to eventually get to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm on the list. As you start chopping names off.
They're going to eventually come to me as I'm the problem. So, let's solve it before it comes to me.
And there were some things that are directly different. Matthew Nyes plays a bumper spot and gets a one-timer. There's some things where, Nylander doesn't play last night, so who do you pull off the second unit to put on the first? They make the right choice and put Nyes there, who scores a goal. Some things just went well for them. And I do think there's a thing with vibes that once things start to go more positively, there's the chance to build on that and have some more success on the power play, which, for the love of God, they have so much talent on that unit. There's no reason they should be as bad as they've been.
Let's go to Craig Berube for our first Skipper's Clipper of the week, his assessment of the power play goals Saturday night.
Well, the broken play on the entry, and then Matty made a great play to Willie, who drove the net and finished it off. That's skill. And I thought the other unit went out there, and Max, that's the type of stuff we're looking for with that play into the middle of the ice.
There you go.
And, we talked about the power play last night on our show, Leafs versus Detroit. It'd be great still. I know Morgan doesn't have a great big shot or a great shot, but I'd like to see him use a little bit more. But at the very least, you got big, strong men down low, and they're starting to kind of feel it right now between Nyes and Matthews once again.
Yeah. It's just, you know how it is. Like, Morgan's not going to become a shooter, and this is not a defense of him. It's like, what are they supposed to do? Because he's not. He's not going to become a shooter. He doesn't, any power play where your primary touches are run through Riley and right now Matias Michelli has a ceiling of how good it can be. So I don't really know what the solution is there. OEL is not much different to me. You don't have another guy. You don't have a forward who makes sense, so it's going to be Riley. But, yeah, I guess just encourage him to shoot when he gets the opportunities. But, yeah.
An ongoing theme that bled into Detroit off of Ottawa were this inability to hold a lead or starting a face-off without the puck ending up in your net in like 20 seconds or so. It happened twice on period starts against Ottawa, and then we saw what I thought JB last night versus Detroit was one of the most emotional goals I've seen all season in Nick Robertson's slap shot, which right. John Tavares made a great play along the walls, out battling, laid in a perfect shot where Nick's just waiting for it, and he hammered it.
Not all of it.
And it was almost like I felt at that point it was like an exclamation kind of point to that game. Yeah. We're not going to be denied, and this is the game that we find a way. And over the last few years, how many times have we seen where the Leafs are down a goal, they pull the goalie, they find a way to score late, and then they pick up another point in overtime? I had that feeling for the first time this year with Nick Robertson's goal.
Yeah.
And what happens 23 seconds later?
Yeah.
Appleton, and now they're scrambling again.
Yeah, it was weird because, to your point, like, Robertson played really well. That line was really good with Nick Waugh and Dakota Joshua. They get the goal, and it did feel like culmination of like, all right, it's happening for this group here. And then, frustrating one. Dennis Hildeby was really good, I thought, last night. That one, you don't love, but, sometimes breaks are funny in hockey. The one thing I get my back up about a little bit with all this, everyone tells you, you can't get scored on right after you score a goal. You can't get scored on the next shift after you score a goal. That's important. Also, you can't get scored on in the first minute of a period. Also, you can't get scored on in the last minute of the period. It's like, you're always trying to not get scored on.
You can't have the third out at third base.
We are always trying to not get scored on. So it's just circumstantially happens.
But there is a psychological kick to when pucks go in net too.
Sure, there
right?
is, but I don't think there's a psychological kick to like, now we're going to try.
No,
try all the time.
But now we can focus better. And in all honesty, I didn't like the shift. It was Nick Waugh's line with Joshua, and Joshua came around and did a wraparound, which again was a good play, get the pucks to the net for sure. But then Nick Waugh ended up drifting a little bit further in, leaving all three of them caught deep. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't caught deep on an odd man rush. It was still 2-on-2, so it's not the end of the world. But what you couldn't have done, because you got your checking line caught so deep, was that there was no chance for back pressure. And Nick Waugh was the closest guy to Appleton, and he ain't keeping up with him. He just got blown away. Yeah. And then OEL starts drifting towards Stetcher, bobbled the puck, and then Appleton had a green light all the way to the net.
More so than just that one play, though, Kip, I think it's worth identifying. They played 35 really good minutes. Okay, that one play,
Maybe 38, 39.
Yeah, like most of the first two periods. And then it's like, well, why does it fall apart so badly? Like, why are you, okay, Detroit turns it up a notch. Well, okay, it's the third period. It's a close game. Why can't they?
Did it fall apart really badly?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, they gave up the 2 or 3 high danger chances in the first two periods, and I think 9, maybe it was 7 in the third period.
Maybe I'm just starting to get kind of.
Think how many posts there were, right? There was the one that went through Hildeby's legs. One hit a cop, hit the inside post, or that was Appleton, maybe. Either
No,
way.
it was DeBrincat.
DeBrincat. No, DeBrincat hit one, but also Cop or Appleton did. Like
I've lost track.
Yeah, there was a lot going on around the net. So not sure why it all fell apart as badly as it did. We should check in on one of the bigger stories. Austin Matthews, 9 slot or high danger chances from the slot in on the Saturday night game, which is the most in a game in the NHL this year. Yeah. You did a little bit on him before the broadcast Sunday night. You liked
better
where he's
better, and I think it's not a switch, right? You're just not going to flick it, and we're going to see this 69 goal scorer. We're not, but I think it's trending in the right directions. Yeah. I don't know where that fine line is where you're like feeling good again about him. I think it's better than what we've seen in the past, but still a ways to go still for him. But it's a good sign. This weekend was a good sign.
But you still felt like there's moments where he doesn't look like the guy you want him to look like.
I just think that there's a bit of a missing gear, a missing push from him. Like there were games over the last few years when he was at his very height where every game, JB, you could see him strip a puck off somebody and go the other way. And it's like, well, he's one of the best in the league at that. Yeah. I think his stats proved it.
Yeah, I think he's the best takeaway guy in the league. Yeah,
and it just seems like he's still not quite there for having that true jam. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether or not it was this injury, and I'm not using it as an excuse right now, but is he a little apprehensive? Since he went through that last year, is it still? Does he lack confidence to do what he wants to do with his skill set and ultimately his body?
Yeah, it's tough to know, right? Like, I'm with you. So if he looks like the rest of the season, the guy he looked like this past weekend, the Leafs are in a good spot. He had the puck in the slot around the net. He had tons of opportunities, creating as much as any player in the league can. So that was good. He had a shot against Detroit that was, getting up in the high 80s, which is, the 70th percentile. Like his shot, he's demonstrating some harder shots. There's some real positivity there. Yeah. And I'm with you that it's not a switch, but it's a slider bar. Yeah. And can it move closer to the right end?
Can I give you just one beef I still have a little bit with him?
Yeah, of
course. I'm sorry. Like, I when I see examples, I just can't keep my mouth shut. Maybe on TV when you only have 2 minutes to go, you let it slide. But here we got all the time in the world, and I'm going to just say it. The incident with McMahon last night, where he's going shoulder to shoulder with one of the best defensemen in the league right now in Mo Seider, and he's taking a couple of lumps from him, and McMahon decides to go into Talbot and drop a shoulder into him, which caused a huge melee. And Matthews is there, and he's just not engaged in that type of environment, which I get it that you're not that type of player, but just the dropping of the head and the body language to say that, this isn't really my thing, it just doesn't fly with me, bud. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. You're the leader. You got a captaincy. Your teammates taking a waffle that just, glazes his over the top of his head, or else if it lands, could be looking at a suspension because you're not supposed to punch anybody with a waffle, right? It's against the rules.
Yeah, the blocker.
But
yeah.
He's not the type of guy to go in there and say anything or do anything. And I only bring this up because I'm watching last night your Islanders, and they go after a kid in Mason Marchment with a bad knee, and Barzal goes up to Mason Marchment and gives him a baseball swing.
Yeah.
And it's like, who's Barzal? Mm-hmm. Like, if I gave you, like, if you gave me 50 names of guys in that type of class, he'd be the last guy I would say would go into a pile and defend.
Right.
But he did it. And I'm like, can Austin, can you just show a little bit of that? I'm watching. Hold on, one more.
I'm trying to find it. I don't remember seeing him at all.
Yeah, I know, because he was, I don't even think he was in the shot.
Yeah.
But I'm watching Celebrini.
Yeah.
A rookie, a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay. His line mate, I don't know, a month ago, Will Smith gets a separated shoulder on someone running him, and he's dropping his gloves and he's going after the guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, God.
Yeah. But Kip, here's the thing with Matthews is, like, the guy that we're fantasizing about, who at his very best, Selke level, 70 goal, it's never been a part of his game. He's not becoming that now.
I don't care. I can still point it out,
totally,
and I can tell you, but I can still say, that's part of the lack of identity that you guys search for.
Yeah.
I can still say it.
Of course.
But I'm not going to accept it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to he's not that guy, so let's just move on. Yeah. I can't do that.
No, and it is a legitimate criticism of him. Like, you don't expect him to fight anyone, but I look at that moment post the Barzal one you're talking about. Anders Lee doesn't fight, but he's a big, strong guy, and he grabs guys. At least grabs guys. Make sure no one's beating up your guys. Hold guys off. Right? There's a role in it you can play aside from whatever. Domi in the scrum you're talking about takes at least 2 freebies on, I forget who it was.
Yeah, a couple of jabs
but
in there.
Just a couple of ding-ding, like, hey, we know we're not getting penalties for the next 10 seconds. It's fair. And there's no doubt it would be better if he were involved.
Yeah, I know.
There's
and
no
it's,
doubt.
and, I look at McMahon, and I loved a lot of that. I did.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you can give me an argument that it wasn't a time and place to go and bump him, but God, it's exactly what the Leafs need.
Yeah.
Something with just a little sandpaper, and make a decision. Do you want to go and fight Mo Seider? I would have gone and fought Mo Seider, by the way. I would have done anything to pull him off the ice.
Who in that scenario is what do you mean? McMahon?
Well, McMahon was battling Mo Seider.
Yeah.
And he's hammering him.
He did get Mo Seider off the rink, which is good.
Yeah, I know.
I
I would have liked to get him off for 5 minutes, to be honest with you. But, beggars can't be choosers here. But good on McMahon. McMahon's a big, strong guy. He can hold his own. This is the stuff that the Leafs have been needing for a long time. And
McMahon can make himself a $4 million player if he did that every other night.
I'm just watching other teams, and maybe because McMahon doesn't do it all the time is because there's nobody in that room to kind of hold him accountable to that, or look at other guys and saying, if I can do it, you can do it. It gains momentum. It does, and Florida has it. Marchand on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what would have happened in that environment?
But Kip, this was the best weekend the Leafs have ever had in that regard. This season.
Yeah.
Not ever.
Yeah.
This season was the best they've had. They stood up to Ottawa, shoulder to shoulder, lots of scrums, physicality, finishing checks.
Yeah.
Even the Detroit game was better. But you're right. It is a little interesting that, in past years, it's been like, okay, we have to have someone who's willing to do it. Whether, maybe Wayne Simmons will do it for us, or maybe, so I'm trying to think of some of the guys they've had in the bottom 6. Achari was a little bit, some of those type of guys.
Yeah.
But they don't really have that. Joshua doesn't really, he did it. After the McMahon incident against Tampa, he fought. But they don't really have a guy.
They have
who
reactionary
has
guys,
that part of
but they
his
don't
game.
have initiating guys, and that's where I liked McMahon there.
Yeah.
I did. He actually went in there and said, you know what, you want to mess with me, I'll mess with your goalie. How about that?
Yeah.
And it's,
Cade might.
and then everybody
Stature
gets involved. Everybody gets a little bit of energy off of it. It gets everybody's attention. It holds you accountable. But, listen, I'm nitpicky here. I know that, and I don't want to take away the fact that it's trending.
You took a massive weekend from Matthews and said he should have punched a guy once, so you did nitpick.
I like that part of their game last night.
Yeah.
Right? That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely, it was a better weekend in that regard.
Okay, where else do you want to go?
Let's listen to the coach a little bit. Why don't we start with his overview from last night and pick apart the game a little further. Clip 1, please.
This game was a hard-fought game. Detroit played well, too. I thought that we had I thought our first period and most of the second, I thought the last 5 minutes of the second period, they started to push a little bit, and we turned some pucks over and couldn't get out of our zone. But other than that, it was a good game, and, I thought our guys, like I said, they came in with the right attitude, back-to-back games. They competed hard. They worked. A lot of good things, but we fell short by 1 point.
I've seen a couple people say this, but we were pretty generous to the Leafs post game, I thought, yesterday, right? A lot of positivity for a team that played 38 good minutes or whatever you think it was.
Yeah, we're positive because it's way better than what we've seen for a month and a half.
And the Leafs were too. I think Nyes called it a great game. Berube, you just heard him. You really liked the game. I think it goes to show how really poorly they played for a lot of this season till now. They do look more like themselves. We have Berube, clip 3 on the Leafs getting back to a play style that's worked for them before. Berube, clip 3.
Yeah, for sure. I think the puck play has been a lot better, and that's where it starts. We're making plays. We're doing the right things with the puck. We're connected in all three zones, and that goes a long way. So, our game looks good right now. We just got to keep going.
Yeah, I liked their effort last night. I did. Again, I'm comparing it to what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a winnable game for them.
Yeah. For sure it was. I thought Berube made an effort to stay connected.
Yeah.
I feel like people have been calling them disconnected a lot, and that word to me was like...
Yeah, good pickup by you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we looked connected.
For sure.
I was like, that's a strange thing to say.
I didn't like the Ottawa game.
You didn't?
No, they lose all. Allmark shows up. Their goaltending shows up.
Yeah.
They don't win that game.
Yeah.
Allmark was horrible.
What's going on there?
Well, his head's a million miles away.
Yeah.
I don't know what they gave up. They gave up 5 goals on 15 shots.
Yeah.
Okay. The rebound goal for Austin, but Christmas was on the 25th, right? Not on the 27th. But he gave it a gift anyways. But Allmark was horrible.
Yeah,
no surprise to hear there's some issues off the ice now.
Yeah.
Because his head was not in the game.
Yeah, I still think Leafs deserve some credit just for creating, for Matthews to get 8 shots in the second period. Yeah. It's not the goalie doing that, So there was more offensive creation. But the one thing, and we talked about this a little bit last night, was when the Leafs start to pull away in a game, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, you can see the forwards just go, oh, it's point night. It's my turn. I'm not going to the room with bagels across my stat line. And all of a sudden it's odd man rush, odd man rush, odd man rush. Everyone's cheating on the offensive side. It's that's enough goals.
And the gaps too, right?
Yeah, well, D backing off, forwards on the offense side. All of a sudden, Ottawa, Drake Batherson looked like, I don't know, prime Yarmer Yager, cutting through the neutral zone.
Yeah.
Moving laterally. It was ugly once they felt like they were going to get a point, and it was way too close.
Yeah. Hildeby's doing everything he can.
Yeah.
I know you had a bit of an issue with the overtime goal.
Well,
a little bit.
I didn't I think he even said, didn't love the puck play on it, which, and maybe a poke check for a guy cutting across the net, but I didn't hate it. It wasn't that bad.
Few people were questioning Michelli being on the ice over McMahon.
Yeah, I'll raise my hand for that.
Yeah.
Well, even to start overtime, it's Matthews and Domi. And I'm kind of looking at the lineup and going, I'm not sure that makes a ton of sense, but Michelli being out there rather than McMahon, rather than even Nick Robertson, who had such a great weekend. By the way, Robertson, both games scored this weekend and then proceeded to have 2 shifts in each game after his goal.
So we can put to rest the rumor of Columbus and Toronto trading Chinnikov
Can I tell you
for
something?
Robertson.
I don't want him anyway. I don't want Chinnikov anyway. You know, he's not 21. He turns 25 in like a month.
He's an ex-first rounder. I don't know what he is. Is he a scorer?
I think that's the idea.
He's never had big numbers since coming out of Russia.
Very toolsy, but like so's Pierre Engvall. You know, he's fast and big and can shoot it. Okay. It hasn't come together for him. They're playing him 10 minutes per game on the last place team in the conference. I don't know. They gave up a second this year, a third next year, and Danton Heinen, which whatever. You know, that's not free.
No, but he's a first rounder. I know it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And he's not 28.
No, he's not. Yeah, like it's not nothing. He could. Here's what I think his ceiling is: a 54-point -7 forward.
Yeah,
you know, which is fine. It's tough to get 50-point guys.
Yeah,
it's tough.
You think some teams are out there going, "Damn, man, I should have traded for Nick Robertson."
I do. I
think he's got great energy. I think he's one of the hardest working guys on the team. At times he still looks small.
Yeah.
But it's just I think he's been one of the leaders right now on that team when it comes to
oh God,
pushing hard.
I believe that's called damning with faint praise.
I'll give him full credit.
Give him an A.
Yeah.
Give him an A. You know, I like him a lot. I was kind of hoping that like once he broke through and had some success, there's this like this passion to go get a goal. Sometimes I'd like him to just
I know.
Okay.
And then he can
look up, pass the puck.
He can throw the puck behind the net. What was the goal last week where he threw the puck up the middle of the ice and it went back and bit him in the ass?
Like sometimes still a little too.
That's what goal scorers they're chancy like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, a year and a half ago, you're like, this guy could get you 20, 25 goals. And I think on a different team with a little bit of power play, I think that's realistic.
Totally
20, 25 goals.
We got to get to Sheldon Keefe. I forgot we still have to break.
Yeah.
So we should go.
Oh, my God. Are you producing on me?
Well,
please
Sammy's
do.
not here. Someone's
Please do.
gotta step in.
Okay, no, Sammy, JB running the show right now. Thank goodness for me on that. All right, when we return, we'll go talk to the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, Sheldon Keefe. Don't go away. It's a real Kyper and Bourne show. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Derek Brandeo, Jen Rolnick, and in for Sammy McKee, Christian Chanidi. All right, as promised, the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, Sheldon Keefe. Welcome in, Sheldon. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. Were we catching you at a decent time here? You're not driving, are you, by any chance?
I'm not driving, but we were a little delayed landing here today, so I am stuck in a car, so I apologize for that.
No apologies necessary. Thanks for the effort, man. We really appreciate it. Just want to kind of tee up where you guys are at this point as you face the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night. I guess coming off of tough losses against Buffalo and the Islanders and then an overtime loss to Washington, fair to say that it was a good time for a Christmas break for your team to maybe regroup a little bit here?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think everybody in the league would probably say that they needed a break just the way the schedule's gone. And for us in particular, it's been up and down and all over the place, both with our performance and our injuries and all that sort of stuff. We got a couple bodies back just prior to Christmas, but, it's nice to come back here. And we've had a couple days of practice since the Washington game, too, which has been something we haven't practiced 2 days in a row since training camp. So that's a nice luxury to have, too, and hopefully it pays off for us.
Sheldon, has that been the most complicating factor for your team this year? The injuries? It seemed like I think I have you guys at the third most man games lost or something. It just seems endless for you guys.
You know what? I mean, we seem to be, over that a little bit now, Borny, but we, all season long, it has been a struggle. I think we've played a couple different stretches with as many as 8 guys out, and that's been tough. And then obviously some very impactful players that have missed, 20 or so games. So that's been a struggle, but everybody in the league is going through that in some form. So we just, for me, it's just the consistency of our play. That's really what we're seeking to improve upon, and no matter who's in the lineup. So that we started off the season very well, and in the last 25 games, it's been inconsistent in terms of our performance and our results.
The biggest loss, of course, for your hockey club was Jack Hughes, and now you have him back, and yet, the team's struggling a little bit here. Where do you see the issues here? I mean, we've all played the game, and sometimes when you see a star coming back, maybe there's a relax or a feel of security when you should be pushing. What do you attest it to?
Well, I think it's, I think there's some of that for sure. It's not just Jack. We actually, we had Jack Hughes, Arseny Gritzik, who not many people know, but he's a first-year player from us coming out of the KHL, who's been a very, very important player for us. And Timo Meier, all 3 players were out of our lineup and came back on the same day at a time where we had won 4 out of 6. At that time, we were starting to find some traction. And then, all of a sudden you bring 3 guys in, it dramatically improves your skill level. And I think, it took a little bit of time for us to get the rhythm, and particularly those players that had not been playing came back in the lineup with no practices. So I think, it's taken a little bit. The break has been, I think, is helpful. Liked a lot of things about our game against Washington. Didn't get the 2 points, but got to overtime and came back in the third period. So, we're hopeful that, that's going to help us here. We got 3 games in 4 nights starting tomorrow, so we're going to get the answers here soon.
A couple of tough losses, and then the overtime point against Washington. I know some of your players, and I think you made a comment about Jack Hughes maybe giving a bit of a wake-up speech or a pick-me-up, I think, as Cody Glass mentioned. Anything you can share with us, and is that just a sign of maturity for Jack moving to another level here?
Well, I think it is part of maturity in terms of, his leadership and his comfort in speaking up, when he feels it's appropriate. I think the team responded really well. I think our second period we played against Washington was the best period we've played in quite some time, and really reflective of how we want to play and what we should look like when we're at our best. And I think Jack was a bit of a catalyst of that in that way. And, you just talked about him coming back into the lineup, and, there's the on-ice impacts for sure. And I think that's going to take him some time. He's coming off a pretty significant injury here, and he's playing, but he's clearly not playing at 100% coming off of that surgery, but he's sort of adjusting and adapting to that. But his leadership abilities and what he brings as in terms of his presence, I think, can have an impact, and that's an area we want to see him continue to grow in.
It's actually a nice segue to ask you a little bit about someone. I hope it's all right to get your thoughts on Austin Matthews, a guy you spent a lot of time with, and he's a guy who you probably saw grow as a leader. I don't know if there are any comparables between the 2 players, but you've watched the Leafs as you prepare to play them tomorrow night. He's struggling a little bit, Matthews, but maybe you could just tell us a little bit about what gets him going, what you found he likes as a way to work, and his own leadership style.
Well, I mean, I obviously I haven't been watching all that closely, other than the last couple of games here. I did watch front to back the game from last night, so you have a better sense of kind of where they're at. I feel like Austin and the team seems to be in a groove right now, and found their game. That said, I think, Austin has grown tremendously for me. Even in my last year there, I think, it made sense to me how, he was ready to step up and take over the captaincy. I think he's come a long way. I do think there are some parallels between he and Jack in terms of the on-ice impacts are there and obvious, but taking some time to grow and be comfortable to speak and to take on that responsibility. I certainly felt he was ready for it. And I mean, I don't know, like I said, I haven't watched enough to know where his game is at, but that one he ripped off the crossbar in overtime is a little bit terrifying, on the other side of it, and could have done without that one. But, with both Austin and the rest of the guys there that I've worked with, I mean, the talent level is so high, and they want to win so badly that, to me, it just felt like it was a matter of time. And I don't feel any differently about Austin and his overall game, certainly his offense coming together.
You're watching and listening to the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, Sheldon Keefe. Now, I'm older than you, Sheldon, and but me and you were probably more removed from the current players today than a lot of other guys. Let me ask you, just in terms of how much the players pay attention to things outside the league. And I'm not here to suggest or want you to comment on maybe a disappointment from the players that a certain brother is not a member of the New Jersey Devils or not. But just in terms of managing that, and like when we played, we talked and we gossiped a little bit about who's available or who players we could trade for. But is it that much tougher now with so much on the internet and what players follow and not? And is it something that you have to pay attention to as a coach to get them focused on what you can control opposed to what's out there?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think as much as you want to, you want to hope and talk about that, that you got to ignore that stuff and tune it out and not pay attention to it. I think it's just the reality of today's world, whether you're seeing it yourself directly or people are sending it to you or just people in your circle are talking about it or your teammates are talking about it. It's reality. And then especially when it's your brother, you're going to be connected on a whole nother level. But yeah, I mean, there's enough there that, you talk about it with your guys, talk with Jack specifically, but I think it's the kind of thing where if this was back in the day, there's no internet, no social media, you're probably not hearing much about it, from a public standpoint. But now it's blown up. But I think Jack's got great perspective on it. Luke as well. I'm sure they'd love to play with their brother, but also they recognize that's the National Hockey League, and there's some things you just can't control, and they've got enough going on. And Jack in particular, as we talked about, coming back from his injury, he was pretty focused on that, and I think he had a pretty good sense that the Minnesota offer was going to be pretty significant and hard for anybody to compete with, so they moved on pretty quickly.
Well, listen, we know the weather's challenging a lot of hockey clubs, including your own. Keep your eyes on the road there, and hopefully we'll see you here safely soon here. Really appreciate your time, Sheldon. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, pleasure as always. Take care, guys.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Head coach of the New Jersey Devils in town tomorrow night.
That's a good
Play with
question.
Toronto.
A good answer, too.
Yeah. I was kind of like, should I ask him or not?
Well, I'll be honest.
And you kind of gave me a look why are you going there?
I was like, this is going to go one of two ways. I thought there was a real chance that
you know what? That guy gives honest answers. As much as he can give you, he'll give you. And I thought I give him full credit for not dodging the question.
Yeah.
Well,
it's real, right? You can't. I was going to say you can't pretend it's not, but a lot of people would pretend it's not.
There's a lot of people disappointed Quinn Hughes is not a New Jersey Devil.
Sure. Well, I mean,
and he talked about the brothers.
The president of the Vancouver Canucks said he wants to be a New Jersey Devil.
Yeah. That's right.
Without saying those exact words, that's essentially what he said. So I think a lot of fans and possibly players too would have been like, we had that in our hand, didn't we?
This team, New Jersey, was one of the teams that we expected okay, let me put it this way. We wouldn't have been surprised if they were up there with the Dallas and the Colorados and somewhere in the vicinity. Or do you not think that they were ready for that? I've been waiting for this team.
I get it. I totally get it. But I'm looking at their roster. I like their D. They're kind of small up front, right? Like Bratt is the key guy. Hughes is a key guy. Heischer and Meyer are nice players, but they're not super dynamic offensive.
They're not running
threats.
anybody over.
Right. So it's like they're good. This is a good team, but it's not.
But they were at times the fastest team.
So fast.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
We would watch them play against the Toronto Maple Leafs and we're like, I've never seen a team that fast.
I think they still can be. Bratt, Hughes, this Gritzuk that they like quite a bit on the back end. You got Luke Hughes and Simon Nemec. Simon Nemec, they can move. So there is some of that to their lineup. But Yeah, I know what you mean. It did feel like how you can control it, but now it's a lot of, Palat's maybe slowing down a bit, and Nason and Colton White and Glendening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that they're as they need an injection of talent, in my opinion. Like they need to get aggressive here. Their beat writer, one of their guys, Ryan Novinsky, today, he said that if there's not a trade made to improve the talent on that team, like in the coming weeks, that he thinks that the GM's job should be.
Yeah. Well, I do believe that Tom Fitzgerald feels it for sure.
Yeah. They're looking to add.
Let's face it. One beat reporter, two beat reporters. It's not coming from the media, but it is coming from their fan base. Mm-hmm. And the expectations are that this team should be, well, they certainly shouldn't be on the outside of a playoff spot at Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. That alone puts Tom Fitzgerald in a little bit of an uncomfortable state.
Though they do deserve some pause because of the injury thing. Jack Hughes for 20-some games, whatever it was, that back end has been without, Pesci for long stretches of play, who's very good. They've been missing a lot of good players to injury. So maybe that's a piece of it, Kip, and they're going, wait till we're healthy to decide what we really are here. Yeah, Pesci's only played 14 games this year.
Yeah.
That ain't great. So,
yeah.
So once they get healthy, maybe there's more there.
I do believe that there was
Leafs are in tough tomorrow.
I do believe that there was a feeling still from New Jersey that everybody knows he wants to come here. So we're not blowing our brains out on pieces.
It would have been embarrassing to do it.
Minnesota only came in the last minute, and they kept their powder dry, and then they lit the fuse, and it was too good for Jimmy Rutherford to pass up.
Because the Devils' offer was going to be good, really good. Nemec at first,
I've not heard. I don't know if they went to 4 quality pieces.
Yeah.
LA maybe was in it a little bit, but I'm not sure he had any interest. But it didn't matter because he didn't have a no move anyways. So no trade restrictions. But I think for sure they thought they couldn't re-sign him. Mm-hmm. But we'll see where Minnesota goes with it.
Well, I mean, the sooner they can get him to put ink on paper, the better, right? Like I'm sure they're very eager to do it. What do you offer him 15 or something?
The other part too to this equation is their goaltending too, right? With
Devils?
Yeah.
Markstrom's not been up to standard.
No, and is he still hurt?
No, he played against the Islanders and was very good.
Okay, yeah. But the inconsistency there.
Jake Allen's a 910. He's an 883.
Wonderful.
Ugh.
Like
Allen's
backup. Like solid backup.
Markstrom. You're calling Markstrom a solid backup or Allen?
Allen.
Oh, Allen's been great.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But that's your he should not be your starter.
Totally.
So they need Markstrom to feel like Demko in his prime.
I think the Devils waited a while before pulling a trigger on a name starting goaltender. And Markstrom's performance has been not what they were hoping to get. Like I said, he was good against the Islanders. Perhaps he finds it here for the back half of the season. He was at 920, and then a game before that he was at 970 against Utah. So maybe he's starting to find it a little bit. I imagine Markstrom goes tomorrow against the Leafs, if I had to guess.
Yeah. And Joseph Woll gets a reset.
Why don't we listen if we can fit in the clip? No, we can't fit it.
No.
Potential Woll Hildebrand.
See, if you had a producer here, Sammy, he would say, we can't go to that clip.
No. But we do have Berube on them splitting the crease in January, which is the plan to keep everyone healthy. By the way, Hildebrand has made the most saves for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. That blows my mind. Let's go.
He's played 3 games less than Joseph Woll?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
All right. Just like that, our Leaf edition is up. We go national next. Rob Brown will join us, talk a little Edmonton Oilers, and Jason Bukala from Minnesota.
Awesome.
Plenty more still on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Do not go away. All right, let's go national. Justin Bourne, Nick Kypreos in for our very own Sammy McKee, Christian Chiniti
He wrote it phonetically for us, which was very kind of him. I would not have guessed Chinini.
But I need it that way for Smith and Jones. I'm not a
Our
professional.
whole thing should be written phonetically.
I'm not a professional host
We're
here.
faking it.
But we are live on Sportsnet 360. We are live in Vancouver. We are live in Calgary. Look, now I got a new lineup. It's color.
Oh,
I can barely read.
beautiful.
Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube when you get a chance. When you can't catch us live.
Right.
In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Rob Brown. Does a terrific job, former Edmonton Oiler. Analyst for Ched. Oilers have been hot lately. McDavid has been all-world lately. Coming off a tough game against Calgary, though, on the weekend. That was a fun game to watch, too. Plenty of chances for McDavid. Still found a way, though. Get on the score sheet.
Oilers,
Extend his streak.
I know we got an extra game played or two. 1 point out of first in the Pacific now, after all this preseason hullabaloo.
They lost a guy on the waivers wire.
Yeah,
Philp.
Noah Philp picked up by Carolina. Surprised me.
Big right-handed depth guy.
Yeah. Not nothing.
Not nothing.
I think they liked him all right.
Yeah.
It sounds like in the minors, they got a couple of guys, that Isaac Howard playing pretty well. There's another guy there. Either way, they got some guys in the minors that are doing well that I think they can give opportunity to if need be.
There seems to be a bit of a comfort zone now that, once again, par for the course, slow start.
Yep.
But now should be comfortably in a position now to get ready for yet another back half of the season push.
I think you look at this roster and you go, tough to find a team better than that. Like when fully healthy, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman, so good. Podkolzin has been good with Draisaitl, Frederick Roslovic. Yeah, they're good. They're a good team.
All right, let's welcome him in. He's been on the show many times. Does a great job for us, Rob Brown. What's going on, Brownie?
Not much. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah.
Hope you had a nice holiday.
You
too.
You as well. We were just saying that once again, all the panickers for Edmonton's slow start just have to eat a big crap sandwich right now.
Well, in Edmonton in the winter, there's not a whole lot to do. We're stuck inside our houses for about 8 months. So we have the Oilers. And the expectations were huge this year. Back-to-back finals. This is the year they're going to get over it and make some moves, sign some players. So the expectation is this is the year they get over the hump. And the expectation is it starts in training camp and preseason, and they're just going to go 82-0 and run through the playoffs. This Oiler team doesn't do that. They make things a little harder. They struggled out of the gate, and there was panic. There was panic amongst the fans. There was anger and panic in the media. And the Oilers players, well frustrated, they still were like, you know what, there's a lot of time left. We're fine. We're going to be okay. And I think everybody now, the way the Oilers are playing, understood that the players and the coaching staff knew what they were capable of, and now they're playing that way.
The trials and tribulations of a season kind of help you sort out what you need and what you don't need, and some things fall by the wayside as you pick up pieces you do need. Noah Philp gets claimed. Article on Sportsnet today from Mark Spector about why it's falling apart between the Oilers and Andrew Mangiapane. So those two guys potentially on the outs. What makes that possible, and is it a good thing?
Well, Noah Philp, I think the media expected him to be a fourth-line player penalty killer for the Oilers. And that was what everyone thought coming into the season. But it was funny. It was one of the early exhibition games. The Oilers got a too many men on the ice penalty. And Noah Philp was sent to serve the penalty. And in between periods, when I do my talk, I'm like, that tells me that Noah Philp isn't going to be a penalty-killing player here. And if that's not the case, he doesn't have the trust yet in the coaching from the coaching staff. So if he's not going to penalty kill here, then they're going to move on from him. So I hope Noah Philp has success when he moves on. I thought Carolina claimed him today. So good for Noah Philp. As for Mangiapane, Stan Bowman came out at the beginning and said he's a guy that we really wanted in the offseason. And they signed him to a 2-year deal. I think it's $3.6 million. There was the hope that he could be, in the top 6, regain the form that he had with Calgary, where he scored 35 goals. But I think you're seeing the Mangiapane that Washington had, where he was a fourth-line player. He was a role player. Right. And it hasn't caught on here with Edmonton. And right now, if you're not in the top six, well, the bottom six needs to be physical. They need to bring energy. If anyone watched the Calgary game the other night, they watched Lombard and Klapka run around. That's exactly what the Oilers were hoping from their bottom six, and they haven't got it yet. In Mangiapane, it hasn't worked out. So he's been moved down to the fourth line today. The Oilers' fourth line does not play a lot. Mangiapane doesn't kill penalties. So if you're in the fourth line at Edmonton and you're not on either special team, it's hard finding you ice time. So I read the article like you did. It wouldn't be shocking if they moved on from him. But on the other hand, he's got 2 years at $7.2 million total. That's not going to be easy to move on from when his stat line doesn't show right now that he's a $3.6 million player. So we will see. If everything went perfectly, Mangiapane and Trent Frederick would give the Oilers that depth, that third line that they want. It just hasn't gone the way they had planned yet.
I'll throw this out to both of you guys, just in terms of the whole situation here with Mangiapane. And me personally, I think it's a really bad look for the Oilers and Andrew to sit there and go, it's not working out after 39 games. And I think the quote from Elliott was both sides willing in the right situation is what Elliott's saying. And it's like, boys, you got together in the summer. You made a commitment to each other. 39
Go to marriage
games.
counseling.
39. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not getting a divorce, okay? Work it out. What did you see? And what are you quitting on in 39 games?
Well, what the Oilers, I mean, they didn't go as well with the Trent Frederick contract yet. It hasn't gone well with Andrew Mangiapane. But what it has gone well for is Jack Roslovic coming in.
Yeah.
And that was one that fell into the Oilers' lap. And I think because they got Jack Roslovic, and he's been a top six guy, or he will be a big part of a third line, they're saying, okay, we if we could get rid of that $3.6 million, there are other holes that we need to fill. We don't need Mangiapane on our third, or tonight he's playing on the fourth line. That's $3.6 million playing wing on the fourth line. I'm sure the Oilers would love that cap space if that's where Mangiapane is going to be. So I think the addition of Roslovic, and I think also Quinn Hudson from the minors came up. He looked very good. Ike Howard is lighting it up down in the minors. So they got two young players on much better contracts that if for some reason they were able to move away from $3.6 million, wow, that opens up a little bit more cap space to possibly fill come trade deadline at whatever needs the Oilers will have at that point.
Yeah. So one of the things they have done is they added this Spencer Stastny on the back end. I don't know anything about him, really. He was in Nashville. What can you tell us about Stastny?
Well, it's funny. I knew nothing about him either. I had to Google him before he came to Edmonton on the trade.
Oh, okay.
When they made the trade, I mean, in a perfect world, the Oilers weren't trading Skinner. Yep. They were going to have Ingram and Skinner as the two goalies if Ingram found his game in the minors. But the Oilers did not play well at the beginning of the year. Neither did Skinner, neither did Pickard, and neither did Connor Ingram. So they had to make a move. And they trade for Tristan Jarry. Well, because of contracts and money, someone had to move out. Kulak moved to Pittsburgh. Kulak had not had a great start to the year, but the last two playoffs, he's been exceptional for the Oilers. He skates well. He gets them out of trouble. And in both years, they've run into injury problems where he's moved up top four and got top 4 minutes. It was excellent. So they had to move him out, and then they needed to fill a spot. And Stastny's come in, and he's like Kulak 2.0. He doesn't have the veteran experience. He hasn't played playoff games, but he skates very well. And you guys will know as well as I do, a third pairing defenseman, which he has been, if at the end of the night you don't remember what he did, that's a good thing because there's no glaring mistakes. It's just, what did Stastny do? I mean, Then you look at his line, he played 15 minutes. He was +1, one block shot, one hit. And you're thinking, well, that's what we wanted of a third line defenseman. So he's come in here and he's played very, very well to the point. And I think I saw the lineup today where Regula is out tonight, I believe, and Stillman is in. Stastny's now put himself in the equation as being an everyday player. It was going to be Stastny, Regula, Emberson, rotate, find their way when Wallman came back. But Stastny's played so well, he's no longer in that consideration. He's a regular here, and that's a good thing for the Oilers.
Brownie, we're 10 minutes into this thing, and we haven't mentioned Connor McDavid yet. And, I mean, every game we're looking at him going 1,000 miles an hour and making defensemen look like Statue of Liberties. I mean, we've seen it before, but have we really seen it like what we've seen in the last 30 days or so?
Well, what he's doing is what, Nick, you and I would do if we went out on with a grade 3 class and had a scrimmage. We would dominate. We'd push kids to the side, come to a bar down, make the goalie look silly. But that's what he's doing right now. It is, if he doesn't have 3 points at the night, you think, oh, God, the other team's goalie must have played well. He's getting that many grade A's. The game he had 5 points against the Flames could have been 10. Dustin Wolf played phenomenal for the Flames that night, kept that out of being double digits. He's just on a different level right now. They had a really tough schedule to start with. And the end of that schedule, a couple Florida games, you could see the fatigue on both Connor and Leon. They came home. They were home for a long stretch. They had a better schedule. They got practice in. And since that time, since Connor McDavid got the rest that he needed, he's gone to a different level. And you've been around superstars. Superstars want to be the best. And Nathan McKinnon got off to this incredible start. And he's having an MVP type season. He certainly is. But Connor McDavid was down, and there's in our podcast, in the papers, who's better? I know that you, on your guys' program, who's better, McKinnon or McDavid? Well, I think McDavid's like, okay, all right, I'm going to show you what I'm capable of. In the last month, it is just, it's stupid how good he is, because he's putting up numbers that you haven't seen since the 1980s. So, yeah, Connor McDavid's on another level, which unfortunately for the Oilers, sometimes masks other problems on the team. Because right now they are winning games because Connor and Leon in a power play are incredible. Yeah. But there's other things that haven't been going as well for the Oilers, but it's hard to critique them when the Oilers are putting together a winning streak like they have.
Yeah, it is. I said to someone the other day, I don't think anyone's ever played hockey better. End of sentence. I don't think anyone's ever played hockey better than he is currently doing it. It is unbelievable to watch. So, obvious question, because we're talking about the Oilers. Tell us about the goaltending. Where are we on the situation in the crease as they move towards, what they hope is another Western Conference championship?
Well, this is just me from outside watching. I think in a perfect world, Stan Bowman would have had Stuart Skinner, Calvin Pickard, and Connor Ingram as their 3 goalies. Ingram finds his game in the minors, pushes up into the lineup, then he and Skinner are 1A. And now they can challenge themselves. Then you can make the moves that you need at the trade deadline.
Yep.
But everybody struggled to start with. So they made the trade for Tristan Jarry. Well, and this isn't just now we've seen what's happened. Everyone beforehand knew that Tristan Jarry has injury problems.
Yep.
So now you got the injury. And now you got Pickard and Connor Ingram, who when they called up, the Oilers had a goaltender who had the worst save percentage in the NHL in Pickard, and a goalie who had the worst save percentage in the American Hockey League in Connor Ingram. And you're like, this could go sideways real bad.
Right.
But Connor Ingram played the first game, played well. And then they're like, okay, let's see if he can do it in back-to-back games. Well, game 2, he was good, but didn't matter. Anyone could have played goal, the 5-1 Calgary game. Mm-hmm. But then he went into Calgary again. So I think what the Oilers are trying to find out, if there's anything that goes wrong or sideways after the deadline or in the playoffs, can we ride Connor Ingram? Can he be the goalie that he was 2 years ago? So I think they're still trying to find that out. He's been fine. The Oilers are playing better in front of him than they did at the beginning of the season, so he hasn't had a whole lot of stress. I'm sure they'd love to see if there's adversity, if he lets in a bad goal, if he has an off night, can he bounce back? But right now, I don't know. I know as much as you do about when Tristan Jarry's coming back. The Oilers, when they say 2 weeks, that's either 2 weeks or 3 months. So we're not positive of when he's back in the lineup. Yeah. But I do believe that they've liked what they've seen from Connor Ingram. But it'll be interesting when Jarry comes back, what they do. Because every team wants to have 3 NHL goaltenders. I believe if Calvin Pickard gets sent down, he will be claimed. And at some point, Connor Ingram, once he gets a certain amount of games in the NHL level, if he gets sent down, the teams are taking notice of what he's capable of doing right now. So there is a fear, I would think, that if the Oilers send one of those 2 players or goalies to the minors, one of them will be gone. And then the Oilers are again in that same problem. What happens if Tristan Jarry gets hurt?
I know the addition of Zach Hyman certainly hasn't hurt Connor McDavid here, but what has it done to kind of reset the whole feel of this lineup?
Well, it moved somebody that was playing with Connor down in the lineup. So you get to put whoever it would have been at that time in a position where they should be, and whether probably the third line. I think it was game 22 or 23 in the season was the first time that the Oilers five-man power play unit played in the same game. And we've seen now how good that power play is. It's at 40% in December. And it's every time they step on the ice, it feels like they are going to score. Hyman is I like all Canadian teams. I enjoy watching the Leafs play. I'm one of the few people from Edmonton that do. And when the Leafs used to come and play the Oilers, I was always looking forward to watching Marner and Matthews and Tavares and Riley, all these players. But it was Hyman that always stood out to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see when you watch an Oiler game. They got all these superstars, but there's one guy that if you're sitting in the stands with your kid, you're like, you know who you got to play like? And they'll say McDavid. No, kid, you're never going to play like McDavid. Play like Hyman.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Play like Hyman. Watch how he's a dog on a bone. Watch his back check. Watch his forecheck. Watch his initiative going to the net. So I think he's contagious the way he plays. He's a guy that everyone wants to play like. So Hyman coming back into the lineup pushes players where they belong, but he also brings an energy that everyone else on the bench can buy into, because you can do the little things that Hyman does, and he forces other players to do that as well.
Hyman is almost like if you took an amalgamation of everything coaches say you should do and put it in a person, and it's like, lead with your stick, finish your check, go to the blue paint, have a motor, be competitive. It's just like everything you're supposed to do, he does. He is a coach's dream. I know
both on and off the ice. And he's also a guy you cheer for.
Yeah.
He's like a perfect human being. So yeah, he has been getting him back in the lineup. It does make the Edmonton Oilers much, much better.
Brownie, one of the things that, so he was on the Marlies when I was there in the American League. Sheldon Keefe was the coach, and they, you only talk to the coaches when you're bad as a forward, right? You call in, okay, watch the video. Okay, we got to talk about this. At some point, they realized Hyman had been on the team 2 months and nobody had spoken to him. Like, he just did the whole thing. It actually created a system where you made sure you checked in with all the players because no one had talked to the guy. He just always did the right thing, and no one needed to ever give him any advice.
No flaws in his video.
I hated when they brought video in. Seriously, I always had my man until video came in, then they could prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, he's done great.
Brownie, we're gonna take an Olympic break before we know it, and then we're gonna have the trade deadline before we know it. So if you're Stan Bowman, if you're Jackson upstairs, and you look at the lineup right now, where does their focus need to be if they need one more push or step with the roster for you? Is it, as long as you got McDavid and Draisaitl and a 30-plus power play, is this good enough to get by Colorado or Dallas or both if you need, as is?
I mean, Colorado's at a different level this year. The Oilers played them once, and I think it was 9-1. Now the Oilers weren't at where they are now. I think for the Oilers, if I was them, I'd want a little more veteran savvy on my back end. I think that Stastny has been very good. Regula has struggled at times. Emberson, you know what you're getting with him. I just fear that if someone in the top four on the Oilers gets hurt, you don't know what Stastny does in the playoffs because you've never seen it. Regula, what's he going to do? Emberson wasn't good enough last year to play in the playoffs. He was healthy scratched. So I would think they would want someone, at least a number 5, 4 or 5 defenseman at the deadline. And then the biggest concern here in Edmonton is their bottom 6. I think they've got enough good pieces to make a very good fourth line. But third line, they have not. And what we saw last year in the playoffs, the Florida Panthers' so-called third line with Marchand on it dominated, and the Oilers had no answer to it. So I think they hoped to have built a third line around Trent Frederick. It has not been good. So I would imagine, and right now Jack Roslovic, I think, is playing center on the third line tonight. I don't think that's the perfect position for him, but I think they're trying anything. So something to build around on a third line and a 4-5 defenseman, I think, would be the two big keys for the Oilers at the deadline.
When you look around the division, the conference, I would say the division, I think the Oilers are the best team. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong there. And then just some serious battles await with that Central, though.
I don't know if, I'm guessing the Vegas Golden Knights aren't done yet.
Yeah.
I think they will add something, as they do every year. I think right now the Oilers are better than Vegas, but if Vegas goes out and gets Erasmus Anderson on their back end, all of a sudden it becomes a little tougher. So Edmonton and Vegas are the two teams in the Pacific. The only good thing for the Oilers in the Central is they have to play each other to get out of it.
Right.
Health-wise, if Colorado gets through and they're healthy, that is a tough out. And they play the Oilers well. They got Cale Makar in the back end who can skate with Connor. They've got McKinnon up. They got a superstar. So I think the Oilers, there's 5 teams out west that are capable of moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I believe the Oilers are certainly one of them, if not in the top 2.
What did you see out of Calgary in terms of their direction? And, man, I mean, you look across the league, and we thought Nashville was dead and buried, and we thought Calgary was dead and buried, and nobody's dead and buried.
Well, out west, I think there's 6 really good teams, 5 for sure, and probably 5 really good teams. And then after that, it's a mishmash. And any of those teams gets hot, they can move in the playoffs. The Calgary Flames, they work hard, and they've had a good record as of late. And then they came into Edmonton, and we're like, oh, how? But they've got fantastic goaltending. Wolf is good. They work hard. Their fourth line completely changed momentum in the game the other night, and their fourth line was the reason they beat the Oilers. The problem for the Calgary Flames is they have to work really, really, really hard to score a goal.
Yeah.
Like the Oilers could be hemmed in their own zone for a minute, then they pop one, and either Connor or Leon or Hyman or Nuge or one of those players gets a breakaway and they score. So the Calgary Flames, I imagine they will be unloading pieces if they can at the deadline, and they got some pretty good pieces. I don't see Erasmus Anderson staying there, and wherever he goes, that team's going to be better.
Brownie, great stuff as always, man. Always love our
Sounds
updates
good,
with
guys.
you.
Thanks for checking in,
All right,
Brownie.
cheers, guys. Happy New Year.
You too, pal.
Edmonton Oiler analyst for Ched, Rob Brown. And this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Let's get that in. You like where Edmonton's going?
I don't see how they're not the best team. Well, I should say, in the Pacific, to me, they're the best team. The Central is absolute war zone. I don't know. Where are you at on them?
Yeah, I just think the ripple effect of Broberg and Holloway,
Yeah, it hurts.
it stings them.
Yeah.
And I don't know between now and the trade deadline if they can make it up.
It's tough,
Like,
too,
think
because those
about-
are like the perfect age.
Think about Broberg now
I know.
on that lineup.
I know.
And
know.
it's just
He's been great.
mind-boggling that that they made that decision
Yeah.
to walk away from him.
That one hurts.
Yeah, that one hurts. And now you're just dying for another.
Not sure we find that guy,
Body.
right?
They're so hard to find.
It is funny, though, that he talks about McDavid and like how it just kind of papers over all your problems. And it's a lot of pressure to go into playoffs being like, we're a very flawed team, but you just go be the best guy in the world. And he has done that many years in a row now
Yeah.
in the playoffs, but it's hard.
And it's like, I know what the expectation is.
Yeah.
And
Well, the
Leon,
other teams do too.
Leon's the forgotten guy at 5-on-5. It's like, Leon, just carry the second line.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just carry a second line. Doesn't really matter who we put you up.
No, we're just going to slap anybody on your side. Doesn't
And
matter.
then the power play.
Savoy and Podkolzin. It's legitimately
I know.
his line.
I know.
And he's the 4th in the league in scoring.
No problem.
Yeah, got
No
it.
problem. I'll just make it up in other places.
Yeah.
And, but oh, by the way,
Find me on the power play.
still get points on 5-on-5 too.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Shall I do game time?
All right, Sammy.
It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So let's look at some hockey games tonight. Kyper, the Edmonton Oilers are in Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets are plus 100. So mild underdogs, almost even odds, minus 120 if you want to bet on the Oilers. The Jets are in tough, aren't they? Like, things are just not going awesome.
I don't want to say 18-wheeler because that belongs to the Toronto Maple Leafs, that catchphrase. But it went south fast.
I mean, won the President's Trophy. I believe I picked them to win the Stanley Cup or go to the
sure.
Cup final going
Yeah.
into the year.
And why wouldn't you? Why
I mean-
wouldn't a lot of people?
Yeah. I didn't.
But I don't know. They kind of got old fast, I guess.
And things are just, once things start going in a negative direction, I think it's really hard to turn it around. The Oilers at -120 look good to me, though. I do think that that's my pick tonight. The Buffalo Sabres are favorites in St. Louis, -115. Sabres won 8 in a row. Let me say
8 in a
that
row,
again.
but
8.
two losses in a row, and they could be in the basement.
They're not
again.
even in a playoff spot. They've won 8 in a row, and they're not in a playoff spot. They're
I'm
like
telling you,
a point out.
Yeah. Everybody seems to be getting 3-point games now.
The problem, and I said this last night with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are, some said, oh, they're 3 points out of a wild card spot. They're 7 teams out of a wild card spot is what they are.
Yeah.
So you got to win 8 in a row because someone's going to play well.
So Tampa seems comfortable with a 2-point regulation time, and then Montreal battles back and earns a point in the last dying seconds here.
Get your point.
So the Leafs find a way to get a point, but they don't gain on Montreal, and they lose on Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Congrats on your point. You're farther back.
Their point doesn't help them.
No, it's they need a lot of wins in a row. Last one I want to mention, a really, really good game tonight. Actually, there's a couple really good games, but the Vegas Golden Knights host the Minnesota Wild. Knights, Wild, both at -110. No favorite. That's in Vegas tonight, which means they kind of like the team of Minnesota a little bit better. Vegas gets the home advantage.
Vegas is kind of quietly like
just skimming
they're
along.
Just on the outside that they're not making anybody believe anything right now.
Yeah.
But they're not burying themselves. They're kind of holding their own, and Mitch Marner could be on pace for, 90 points, which 98% of the league would die for.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really found his
I haven't checked
comfort
in
zone.
a while. Last I checked, he had like 6 goals or something. Has he put a few in recently? Or
I think he's right around his wheelhouse. He's going to end up with 20, 25 goals and 70 assists.
Yeah.
I don't know, 90, 95. If he gets hot, he'll hit 100 again.
He's also playing center.
Yeah.
Played in Toronto for 9 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know that he spent a game there.
I don't know if he did either, but that's also an organization that had plans on Willie Nylander being a centerman 2 or 3 times and never ended up playing, I don't know.
0 attempted games for Willie, 0 attempted games for Mitch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe throw it at the wall once or twice.
But they're kind of quietly just on the outside looking in right now. And as Rob Brown just told us moments ago, they seem like they're destined for another big trade down the road.
Yeah. As it is, I like Minnesota. Boldy has snuck up in the top 10 in points. Faber and Quinn Hughes, unbelievable duo. Eriksson Ek, so good. Kaprizov, so good. I really like the Wild, so give me the Minnesota Wild. That is Game Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, we'll hit a couple of notes just before we go to break because I want to get your thoughts. We got Jason Bukala on the other side here to get us up to speed on World Junior Championships in Minnesota and a couple of prospects and potential first and second overall picks.
I'm going to be asking him questions with complete sincerity because I don't know the answers to them.
Good.
Been following.
Nothing should change on our show after 5 years like that. Barzell's two-handed chop on Marchment.
Yes.
I like a 2-minute tripping penalty or a slashing penalty, but you thought it should have been a game.
And
this is your team.
I love what he did.
Yes.
I thought the Marchment play was cheap. I love that he stood up for his guy. I don't want him to fight, so take a chop at a guy. Perfect. Love. I do think the league should say, we can't baseball bat swing at each other. I don't care where you hit him. I don't care if there's no injury. We can't do baseball swings. That's a suspension. So listen, I'm in favor of, if I'm on his team, I'm like, way to go, Barzy. But you got to suspend a guy who baseball bats a guy, don't you?
I'm a big believer of, you can baseball bat a guy and miss him. And I don't think it's suspendable.
Really?
Well, depends how close, but no, I think you have to hit a guy. And he
did.
But he was very smart.
Infield single.
In focusing on the escape blades. He didn't chop him in the waste.
But it's funny to me, like if Marchman's, top of his foot, he cracks a bone there or something, he misses whatever.
If he cracks a bone.
If I shoot a gun at
Yes,
you and
if.
it hits your heart, it's worse than it hits
There's
your
the magic
arm.
word, if.
Yeah,
And we don't ever have to worry about that.
because it didn't happen.
Because it didn't happen.
There is no
so in the
alternate
rule
reality.
book, if you break a bone,
Yeah,
then, you're suspendable.
right. So you just give him just a little Julio Franco full swing with the knee into it. Josh Donaldson. Anyway, love it. Stand up for your guy. Islanders been pretty good about that this year. I just think by the way, that one from Barzal, I didn't mind as much as the Lundell one, which was a $5,000 fine, which was the worst of the McMahon, Lundell, Barzal trifecta. Lundell almost killed him.
I know.
He catches him on the top of the helmet on the way down.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just off balance.
But I really think that the league quietly loves that Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay, and they're like,
absolutely.
So give them a fine.
Yeah.
But
keep them in the match for the next one. If the boys want to go back at them.
By giving them a fine and not suspending them, they're really encouraging that type of push the envelope.
I know. And someone will break a bone one of those times. But I will say this. If you're trying to appeal to Floridians, where the weather wants you dead with hurricanes, the people want you dead with guns, the animals want you dead as crocodiles and mosquitoes, the best thing you can do is say the players want each other dead out there. Have at it. Florida, Tampa Bay, murder fest.
Yeah, I'm not that extreme.
Well, the league might be.
Is this a Freaky Friday here?
No,
You got the Neanderthal.
No, I've actually
got the Kyper Neanderthal thing going right now.
No, I'm not encouraging. I'm saying Florida is a terrible, hateful place, and that they love the murder. That's all.
All right. On that note, we'll go from beaches to a snowstorm, I think, in Minnesota right now.
Let's do it.
We'll get the latest weather update, including all World Juniors, out of Jason Bukala when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne. Let's welcome in Jason Bukala, Sportsnet hockey analyst, founder of the Pro Hockey Group, and now our lead analyst at the World Junior Championship as we preview Canada and Denmark tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Books, what's going on there?
Happy holidays, fellas. It's as cold as I've ever felt in Minnesota in my career.
That's saying a lot.
Unbelievable.
Outdoor game next year?
No, it's unbelievable that they actually played outdoor football here. It is minus 18 degrees, but when the wind was coming between the buildings on my walk over to the rink today, it felt like it was about minus 30. So I'm getting old and creaky.
And that's Celsius? That's what we're talking about?
Well, it's my Celsius here. I listen. It's unbelievable. Like there was a fellow journalist of ours. He walked from his hotel to the venue today, and he went all Mike Holmgren. I don't know if you remember him when he coached the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
His beard. I think the moisture coming out of his schnoz froze his entire beard up on his face by the time he got to the rink.
Love it. Love it. Very
So
Canadian.
it's still fairly early in the tournament, but what have we seen out of Canada that's making people say, I want to see more? A couple of narrow victories, right? But not anything too convincing for Canadian fans?
So a couple of things, like in behind me right now, Czechia is leading Team Finland 1-0, guys. And there's a lot more parity in this tournament than there ever has been. So I'm going to take that into account. First of all, Czechia, they look like they could be a problem for the remainder of this tournament, the way they're playing here. And whoever loses this game is going to be, Finland plays Team Canada on Friday night or primarily on New Year's Eve. And that's going to be a big, big game. Now, having said all that, Canada, it's just been a little bit disconnected for me. I have to be honest. The top line with Michael Hayes is from the University of Michigan. They've looked really good. But beyond that, Michael Misa has not hit his stride, in my opinion. And the bottom of the lineup hasn't exactly played to all of their strengths either. So what I'm trying to say is that they just haven't quite come together. And they're allowing a team like Latvia to hang around. And then the next day, Latvia gets it handed to them 8-0 by Team Finland. Obviously, it's a tough turnaround, 24 hours for Latvia. But still, This is a deep Canadian roster. I'm sure their best hockey is still to come here, but don't discount the parity in this event this time around. There's a lot of really good hockey being played here.
You know, I don't follow junior hockey hyper close, but like I know all the names on this Canadian roster. I'm looking at this team and thinking like these are supposed to be our superstars. Gavin McKenna enters the year as the presumed number 1 pick overall. I know there's been movement there. Just a couple of games. How's he looking?
So you can't teach what he does offensively, Bourne. That's a God-given talent. And he makes plays like his seam pass in the first game to the middle of the ice to Brady Martin coming right down the middle of the ice. That's a calculated play. That's a skilled spinorama play. It's not just it's just not a hope. He makes those plays. My problem continues to be this. For everything that he does exceptionally well offensively, there's 3 or 4 times in the game that a puck gets exposed in key areas of the ice. That to me, as a scout at this stage, while I'm starting to project into June, I have to be comfortable enough that those things are going to be happening less frequently as he projects to the pro game. And people have to respect that process. That's what we do. You know, it's not about what you see, the pretty plays. It's also about other things going on in the game. So what I'm trying to tell you is that just be average, which he sort of has been defensively, but there's been a lot of plays that the opponent hasn't been able to capitalize on that are kind of soft area, hopeful, that could end up with the puck in the back of the net is what I'm trying to say. So his game has been okay. I still think there's more to come here for him as well.
Was that exposed when he made the move down to the States with Penn State, that he's not as strong as he should be for a first pick overall on all sides of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the most recent guy that had this type of pedigree, if you will, was Macklin Celebrini. And the thing with Macklin Celebrini, guys, when he went to college was he played like his hair was on fire up and down the ice sheet, like 200 feet. If he lost a draw in the defensive zone, he was on it. If he turned the puck over on the half wall, you know how skilled guys, we've seen this forever, right? When a skilled guy turns a puck over on the half wall in major junior or even college hockey sometimes, they don't bust their chops back. They're a little bit slower to the gate. There's that little hesitation of sulk. Celebrini was never like that. I'm not saying for 1 second that Gavin McKenna sulks about it. All I'm just saying is that his reaction time to get back into position is a little bit off, and he's being challenged, Kyper, at the college level. It has gotten exponentially better in the last month and a half. I have to give him credit, but there's still a ways to go there. And especially when I'm here, I came from the Germany-Sweden game, watching Ivor Stenberg, and to a man over there, a lot of people that come up to me just to talk hockey and, you know, chew the fat, they're like, well, I don't notice him all the time. Well, you don't notice him because he's a calculating player, Stenberg, that is, in Sweden. He's a point of game guy in the SHL. He positions himself right on the puck, off the puck, and then when he gets that opportunity to strike offensively, he's above the play, he strikes. And he plays a pro style already that's projectable, and that's why he's got so much momentum right now. And we're going to see how the rest of this tournament unfolds.
It is funny, you know, like Stenberg's 3 points in 3 games. McKenna does manage to have 4. So he is this, you know, power play and all that stuff. He finds his way to get on the board just with raw points. The guy who's leading the tournament, Anton Frundell, drafted by Chicago, 3rd overall last year, 3 goals, 2 assists in 3 games. Has he looked as elite as the numbers say?
Yeah, he has. So another guy that plays a buttoned-up style. He plays for Djurgården in the SHL. Again, plays the game the right way. He's got good size, good leverage. He absolutely crushes the puck from the weak side on the power play. I mean, crushes it. So he's got that in his back pocket with the man advantage. But he'll push the pill north, guys, in transition. And if nothing's there, you guys have seen a lot of these Europeans, right? When there's nothing there in the neutral zone, they don't really try, Swedes especially and Finns, they don't try to create something out of nothing. They chip it deep and then they work the wall or they'll work the corner. I'm not talking William Nylander type Swedes. I'm talking about, you know, the majority because he's an anomaly. So these other guys that really busted along the half wall and that's what Frondell does. He creates his own space, and then when he sees an opportunity, man, oh man, does he rip a puck.
We know you're brilliant. You know, we know you're brilliant when it comes to this sort of stuff down there, but, you know, and how many of you covered over your career, but do you go every year and just see somebody that blows you away or surprises you, or because you're so good, you know everything?
Well, I'm definitely not that good as you've alluded to, and with my draft record in the past, right there live in studio. I'm not that great sometimes.
But who is it so far that stood out that you didn't really see?
Galvis, the defenseman for Team Czechia, number 23, the left shot, Thomas Galvis. He went through the draft last year, guys, which is alarming to me on a lot of levels. He's a little bit undersized, but he's been really good here. He quarterbacks the power play. He's been elusive. He's got escaped in small areas. He'll walk the blue line, and he's not easy in the defensive side either. Like, he's stick on puck, and he's got enough leverage. I don't know how he didn't get drafted last year. He was in my top 65, I think, on my year-end draft list, but for whatever reason, he wasn't. Nobody's going to miss on him this time. He's too obvious every time he's on the ice for Team Czechia. And I'm going to tell you something. I love watching Team Czechia play hockey. It's like they're skating downhill. Their hair's on fire. They're giving everything they've got. Yes, they emptied the tank against Canada and didn't come back with as great an effort to, maybe as button up the next game. But here today against the Finns, I can tell you right now over my shoulder, Finland's got 15 shots on goal, and we're in about 12 minutes left in the game. So it gives you an idea how hard Czechia plays.
Right. So fill us in on those big bad Americans. How are they looking? Are they the top threat, or it sounds like Sweden's pretty good too?
Sweden's really good. More calculating, more like a chess match, I would say, with the Swedish roster compared to the other rosters here. U.S. is good. They're solid. Scary incident the other night with Hudson getting injured. Cole took a shot to the back of, actually, he's a defenseman. He just turned around. It was a shot that came through traffic. It hit him right below the helmet line and above the neck guard there, guys, where there's no protection in. And it sent a stinger, like a stinger down his, that's why he couldn't move on the ice. He's been cleared. He's not going to play tonight, but we'll see how he does going forward. Keep an eye on if anybody's going to be watching or for a name. Chase Reed from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, the right shot defenseman. He's a climber. And I think, with him and Carson Carls from Team Canada, you're looking at top 5 guys in the draft. He's going to play elevated minutes here for the U.S. They're different this year, Bourne, but they do have 9 returning players from a gold medal winning team. And we all know champions in the room, they can toe the rope for other guys and teach them along the way. So the games have been sold out over there at the big rink, not so much as other people can see everywhere else. But the Americans are excited, and they're going to be a tough out here.
Well, why is that? I mean, this is a great state of hockey in Minnesota. And, it's one thing to say, okay, some of the other lesser teams don't get it to be a draw. But I'm watching Canada with an empty building. What the heck is going on down there?
100%. I totally agree with you, Kyper. So I don't want to get into the geopolitical landscape, but I have to tell you that the word on the street around here in Minneapolis is that the Canadian people from the prairies or Manitoba, whatever, the ones that can make an easier trek to come down here, not so much interested in doing it. They just, I don't know if it's the American thing or just the landscape of the world. But maybe it's the cost too. I don't know. But all I know is this, that people are not flocking here from north of the border the way that the organizing committee anticipated that they would. And trust me, I've been overseas. Like 2 years ago in Gothenburg, I'm losing track of time here. 2 years ago in Gothenburg, 9,000 Canadians were in Gothenburg, Sweden to watch. If we put 9,000 in this building behind me right here, it would be sold out with Canadians, to give you some perspective. So not sure why, but it stands out, and it's disappointing, to be honest with you.
Do you think suggesting that they annex our entire country frustrated people a little bit? Maybe, I don't know. Seems like, maybe that had some influence, Books. I see you tiptoeing around that, but some people are pretty mad about that still. And
I think it has something to do with it. And listen, people from the Midwest, they're Canadian. Let's be honest
absolutely
here. People from Wisconsin and Minneapolis, Minnesota and stuff, they get us. They're the best. They're totally like us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Just wanted to get a couple more updates on specific players on the Canadian team. I think a lot of people tuning in now as the tournament starts to move along. I know the Leafs, Ben Danford is involved, but a lot of big names on this team. So who are you looking for more from in the days to come?
Well, why don't we start with Danford, because I think that we got a lot of people that want to know. He's playing, the right side behind Perek and Brunick, so 2 NHL guys, and then Danford, of course, is the first-round pick for the Leafs as well. He's played mostly to his identity here, guys. What I like about Danford in terms of his trajectory is that his small area speed, agility to defend small spaces has got exponentially better over the last year and a half. And he was the captain in Oshawa. He's on a wagon in Brantford. They should win the Memorial Cup. Puck play has been okay. So it's just been okay. He's more of a windows and boards guy than a pure stick to stick. I'm going to launch it. I'm going to join the rush, which is fine. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I like the fact that his pace and his agility has improved a lot. His puck play is still average to average plus for me. I don't see any offense whatsoever. He'll eat a puck on a shot block and he'll body up physically. He's calculating that way. So I'm good. I'm good with all that. Zane Parekh has been probably the best version of himself for Calgary Flames fans. He's more of that whirling dervish skating around freely here at this tournament. You can see that he's oozing that confidence to play the game, his style, if you will. And Dale Hunter's just going to let him do that. He's going to open the door and let him do that. But at the same token, there's been, similar to McKenna, there's been some glaring weaknesses defensively that are going to have to be improved upon a great deal to allow his elite skill set to rise to the occasion going forward. So, just some little things to keep an eye on there. Carter George, the goaltender from Owen Sound, he's an LA draft pick. We'll see how he does. I expect that he'll be running the table now going out. I don't know that for sure, but I would expect that that's what's going to happen. But I'm going to end it with this for Canadian team prospects. Michael Hage from Michigan, who's the second leading scorer in all of NCAA hockey. He's been excellent here for Team Canada, except for the fact that he can't win a draw. And that's going to be something he's going to have to work on. He's probably around 20% in the faceoff circle, but that's not going to cut it. But the rest of it's been exceptional, and he's been a big reason why Canada's looking like they're going to continue to score more goals offensively going forward.
Books, we'll let you get back to the game. Great stuff. We'll catch up, but we'll catch up again with you later on in the in the series,
right?
in the tournament, in the whatever you call it over there.
Okay, boys. Hey, listen, let's get together after New Year's. Happy New Year's to you guys. I appreciate you having me on, right?
That'd be great,
guys.
Books. Thanks for your time, pal.
Jason
Hey,
Bukala.
Kyper.
Yeah, buddy.
Kyper, leave me alone for crying out loud. For one show, just get off my
God,
case.
I'm starting to love you like Sammy. You're almost
All right,
at
boys.
Sammy level.
See you, Books. Have a good one.
Jason Bukala. That's great stuff. Hey,
It's
So,
really
like you're talking to a real professional scout there.
Yeah. Guy had a real hand. I don't know that people know the hand he had in what the Florida Panthers are today.
Yeah.
He had influence there.
Yeah. I get the whole Canadian thing if they don't want to come down.
Yeah.
But that's the state of Minnesota.
Sure, those people can wear it. I'm fine with hanging it on them,
and
but
they're not going.
no, they're not.
No, they're not going. And that to me has everything to do with it's just too expensive, bud. No, like okay, U.S. is sold out.
Take.
It's just too expensive.
Yeah, everything wants to be the Super Bowl. Not everything's the Super Bowl. You're a junior hockey tournament.
They're kids. And I know that you're selling, hey, come see Connor McDavid before he becomes Connor McDavid. But you're not selling that for $100 or $125 to go see Latvia.
No.
Because come see a potential fourth rounder.
Yeah.
You're not selling Latvia. I'm
No,
sorry. They're still kids.
$27, the more than a movie, I'm in.
It's not $27.
No, that's what I mean. 107, I'm good.
And
Thanks.
they
I
don't
need to see
sell
it.
them individually. They're telling you, go spend thousands of dollars on the whole package.
Yeah, see,
that's the other thing,
rubs
too.
me the wrong
and
way.
Minnesota fans are going,
I don't want to go.
No, I don't think so. I'll just, I'm not doing that.
I do get it, though, because, they're trying to get people to go see Slovakia, Czechia, those games. And so usually it's like, hey, buy the good tickets, and then you, as a package, you get these ones.
Can we
It's
just
I don't want
not
those ones.
be so greedy, on this tournament?
Yes.
Start there.
Yes.
Okay. Our thanks to Jason Bukala, Rob Brown, and Sheldon Keefe. Buddy, 2 people doing this show for 2 hours?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Too many words.
Oh, I can't talk.
We'll get Christian in here.
Oh, Christian's going to save me.
Okay, he does good stuff.
Yeah. Christian,
Janiti, it's you.
get a good warm-up, good stretch before tomorrow's show.
Up with the tongue.
All right.
Bye.
How many games we got on tap, Sammy?
Literally no way.
Okay, a lot. A lot or none. I don't know.
This is not
But
my
whatever
role.
it is, find it, enjoy it,
On
and come
Sportsnet.
and join us again tomorrow on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show.